Hi, I'm Joanne Yeoh, and this is my animal communication breakthrough.
Joanne, thank you for sharing your breakthrough story with us. Can you tell us how you got started in animal communication?
I started, it'd be about 5 years ago, and one of my dogs hasn't been well. He didn't have a life-threatening illness or anything, but it was a chronic condition. And I just tried everything. And in the end, I was searching the internet and I stumbled onto what I'd never realized, existed was something called interspecies communication. And I started to research, watch videos, and then it just went from there. I, read books and I just tried some of the things that were suggested. And actually, it helped my dog a lot. So that's how it really gripped my interest.
So you started learning it, and then did you get to a point where you started having some kind of challenges getting to where you
Uh,
wanted to go?
all the way through, because watching the videos and reading the books, it's felt so natural, and all the books would say it's a natural ability. I did do a workshop as well, and within the workshop there were times when I thought, oh, I really got it, and then there were other times I was really blocked, and some of the things that I was relaying, I believed I received. The other person might go, I can't relate to any of it. And then I might have somebody say something else, that I've relayed, and they go, oh, that's exactly it. So I did feel quite confused during the beginning, wondering how do I get it so that it's consistently um, accurate. Accuracy was important to a degree.
Did it ever get to the point where you just wanted to give up because it was so frustrating?
Well, I don't think I wanted to give up, but I felt frustrated that I couldn't find, in a way, either someone to help me to understand it more, or even to find a method. I got obsessed a little bit about what's the formula. So I started to, in a way, try to have quite stringent rituals. I went through that stage where I thought that if I didn't do A, B, C, and D, I wouldn't be in the right zone for it. So I did drive myself a bit crazy after a while, thinking, how come when I didn't have any um, knowledge about animal communication and I just tried it with my dog, it helped him. And then it seems to be that the more I studied, the more I read, the more I watched, the more I kind of wanted to do it so much. That's when I started to hit some blocks.
So then did you get to a point where you finally had that breakthrough and you made it work?
Well, it's perseverance for sure. Something inside me, because of what happened with my dog, there was no denying that it was real, that it did happen. I think that's what really helped me. So it was pure determination, because I decided to contact up to 100 animals or people who had animals, and that was kind of my limit. I said, I'm going to do 100, because out of 100 I will know whether this works. But yes, even throughout the 100 I had a lot of doubt. So my breakthrough was really, I attended a workshop, a medical intuitive workshop, and the teacher at the time said something very profound to me, which was, imagination is your closest ally to intuition. And I knew then what my block was. I always doubted um, the communications that I received, or the intuitive information that I received, because I thought I had imagined it. So I would just dismiss it or push it to one side, or just go, oh no, I can't relay that. That is just too crazy. I obviously imagined it. So that was really my breakthrough, because when I understood that imagination is actually the closest ally to your intuition, I allowed my imagination to flow, to breathe, to play. And as a result, it freed up so much within me. It actually released a lot of blocks. And that allowed me to develop my intuitive senses deeper.
Was this like an overnight happening that it just happened like that, where you had the realization and then suddenly it opened it up for you and then everything else fell into place?
Absolutely, it was. I think that's really what I was fighting against, but didn't realize. So when somebody says something that gives you that light bulb moment, it's almost as if they give you permission to do what you naturally would do, but you've blocked it. So I could relate to the fact that when I was a child, I wasn't encouraged to allow my imagination to flow. And I was aware suddenly that, yes, the communications that came through from the animals would be random, could be bizarre because it's not our perspective. So the imagination and the intuition aspect all really linked in. And then as a result of that, it allowed me to just be very natural with my imagination. And then more and more, I found that the communications that I received and relaying it definitely became much more accurate.
Mm-hmm. And you realized it really wasn't your imagination, it was real.
Yes, yes. And what that led to was for me to just be intuitive all the time, because that was my other block, which was whenever I felt like I wanted to do a communication with an animal, it's almost as if I'm saying to myself, right, it's now time to be intuitive. But actually, it's about yourself as an intuitive self.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're in the mood or not, you are intuitive. So it all tied in. So the imagination bit allowing me to release that block, and then feeling, being aware that the intuition is very close to that, and then just allowing it to be such a natural part of who I am.
That's so great. I, I think I have a similar story, but I relate, but it's so great when you get to that moment where you can just breathe and say, oh, that's why it wasn't working before, but now I found the real me, the real reason, the real way to do it.
Yep,
For me,
absolutely.
for you. Yeah.
And then there's no going back. So to me, that is the definition of a breakthrough moment, is that there's no going back. So there's no doubting.
Right.
You the logic might still go, maybe. Then you go, nah, been there, done it. I know exactly. So to me, breakthrough means you don't doubt again.
Uh-huh. So then after that breakthrough, where are you now? How did you get to where you are now? And where
Well,
are
it
you
gave me,
with it?
yeah, it gave me the confidence to know that it's such a useful and important ability to have, to give our animals a voice. And it actually gave me the purpose to actually become a professional animal communicator. So when I learned about animal communication, that was not part of the reason why, I set about studying it, or it was really more for my own animals. But when I realized that it came so naturally to me because I released, that block and had that breakthrough, it just felt natural for me also to dedicate my work to it.
Great. That's so great. Well, thank you so much. It's going to be an inspiration for lots of people.
I hope
And I
so.
hope they will also find their own paths as you did.